All right, Coach. Just like normal, why don't you get us started with your thoughts on this on Saturday's game, and then previewing, NIU, and then we'll take some questions.
Obviously, negatives from Saturday's game is the outcome. Negatives is offensively, failure to move the ball, offensively turn the ball over, which we've said over and over, and we're working very hard at trying to get more ball movement, more first downs, more run game, better protections, better completion percentage, and obviously the turnovers. And even till the 2 turnovers, we got the ball and we're down 17-3, and we're still in the game. We're not in great shape, obviously, but it's still a manageable game, and we haven't put our defense in any bad positions. The positives, there's improvement in the kicking game. Caleb had a very good day. Kickoffs, the 2 kickoffs he had were both touchbacks, which he has not been able to do for us, which obviously creates some good field position for us. Does a nice job, makes a field goal to make it 14-3. We would have loved to make it 14-7. We got to go after the ball with 2 hands. We go after the ball with 1 hand, and it gets batted away by a good play by the DB. And those are things we got to do better to have a chance to get to 14-7 and make it a 1-score game on a really good throw in a position where our guy can make that play over and over. Punting was good. Coverage was good on punts. Christian had a very good day, had 1 short, low kick, and we actually covered it well. Other than that, he really did a nice job of flipping the field, and our coverage was better, so that was positive. Defensively, run game was good for the most part again. We did a good job. Obviously, they had a lead, and they ran the ball a lot with the lead, but there wasn't any giant creasing runs that were field flippers or long touchdowns, and we did a pretty good job. They got us on a little twist scheme, and we adjusted to it. Pass game started off slow, got better and better. As the first day, I felt like we were contesting balls and either knocking people off balls or making some plays on balls in the air. We still got to do a better job, but we got our hands on more balls and had more pass breakups than we've had other than the Cincinnati game all year. And we got more aggressive. Again, negative defensively, start off too passive. We're really imploring our guys. We're getting smarter. We're getting more confident in what we're doing, and we're playing more aggressive during the week. We got to continue. We talked about last week on every media, radio, TV show, radio show, about just continuing to push. And we talked about during the game, they started to do it, and that's how you get off the field. So our pass coverage, I felt, was better. The 2 plays defensively, obviously, were killers. We're in man coverage, and they throw a screen pass. We got a linebacker assigned for the back. He's in the backfield next to the back, and he peeks at the quarterback, and the back slides on him, and they get a huge chunk play that leads directly to a touchdown that should have been a throwaway. Should have been we stayed with him. We got to our spot. We stayed with him. The quarterback sees it, and he just burns the ball like smart quarterbacks do on screen passes that aren't there, and we gave up a huge chunk play. And then the one early, the little short throw to the flat early where Bucci misses the tackle, again, too passive, too big a cushion, not low enough, not aggressive enough driving the route. So when the guy catches the ball, there's a little space that allows him to turn vertically. We still got to make the tackle. We missed the tackle, but it should be a 4-yard gain. It turns out to be a 40-yard gain. So there's 2 chunk pass plays that they threw the ball a total of 3 yards. And one just mental lapse by our Will Backer, should have stayed on the back and didn't stay on the back, and we're in man coverage. If you know they're going to throw a screen, you want to be in man coverage. And then the other one is nothing wrong mentally other than just coming out of the chutes early and playing with too big a cushion. We were 13 yards off against a bubble screen. If you're 13 yards off against a bubble screen, you're not going to defend the bubble screen very well. So there's too much air there for our safety, and then we miss a tackle, and then the kid makes a good play on it. So there's really only 2 plays that when I watch the tape defensively, you really want to have those 2 chunk plays back that were easily defendable, and we have to make those plays. And we talked to the defense after the game about getting stops is critical, but we have to find ways to get some turnovers. We have to find ways to get some 3 and outs to try to create field position for our offense. And everybody talks about our offense isn't moving the ball, which is hurting field position, which is obviously true. But also the defense has to continue to try to grow and do a better job of getting off the field and flipping the field themselves, or creating the turnover like OU's defense got those turnovers and created one for a score, and then one, we got a 3 and out, and they kick another field goal. So they got 10 points directly off turnovers, which again, with the young offense, inexperienced offense, that can really help those guys out. So we have to continue defensively, not to say, hey, well, we're not playing that bad. That's fine. We got to continue to try to keep elevating our game to keep helping our offense. So task ahead is a tough one. Obviously, Northern's been a marquee team in this league. Will be the best offense we've seen so far, along with Cincinnati and Western Kentucky's different styles. Cincinnati and Western Kentucky threw it all over the yard. Northern will throw it. Hare's very capable and has a lot of good wideouts, but everything's set up by their run game. They run the ball so effectively. They create easy one-on-one matchups, and they do a lot of pitching and catching on the perimeter and do good things with play action off their run game. But they're just so hard stopped. Their O-line's good, their running backs are good, their tight ends are good, and obviously their quarterback's a dynamic runner. He hurts everybody every week. I was watching a Ohio State game, doesn't matter. He hurts people with their legs every week, no matter who he's playing against. So he's and we saw him, they scored 51 on us a year ago. So we're going to have to have a great challenge defense, and we're going to have to play a lot better than we played against him a year ago to give our team a chance to win. And then obviously offensively, we got to get better. You know, we're playing inexperienced guys, we got that, but if we want to win a football game, we got to get better. And I know it's the same story every week, but we just got to keep plugging away, and we got to keep competing, we got to keep practicing, we got to keep trying to put them in positions to be successful. We talked last week that your package is limited when you have less experienced guys, but that's where we're at as a football program, and we're going through some growing pains right now, and we may go through some growing pains a little bit in the future, but we're not going to accept that. We're going to keep plugging away and try to find a way to stay in this game and compete against North and find a way to beat them.
Moving to Billy Ball, a quarterback, can you go through the timing on that? And I mean, why'd you decide now was the time to make that happen?
Just we're trying to, every week you try to look and say what gives your teams the best chance for success. And I think up to this point we felt like Drew gave us the best chance for success. We definitely like Billy's upside with his arm strength and his size and some of the things he can do. Obviously, it's a tough decision when you have a senior and you have a freshman and you're trying to gauge experience versus maybe what you see is some potential. And just the timing for us is we kind of went through 5 games. We were kind of where we were at in the season. We finally kind of felt like Billy had got enough seasoning and is ready to take over, and him and Gus kind of take over in a dual role and compete for us. So never know exactly when the right time is. We're going to play it out and see what we could do winning games and trying to win games and put ourselves in position to win games, and you're still thinking about that, but I just felt like it was a time to make the move and get Billy in there and start letting him and Gus grow.
How do you assess Billy's play after looking at the film?
Obviously, the interceptions are the big thing, you know, and a couple of them were, you know, one's just a bad throw, which is disappointing, and then a couple of them are just bad decisions, reading, thinking he could get balls in places that he couldn't get balls in. And then one's hold on to the ball too much in the pocket. So again, 3 of the 4 he's got to learn from and eradicate. The 4th one he's got to throw a better ball. There's no learning on the 4th one. I liked his competitiveness. I liked his confidence. You know, he told us after the game, if I play halfway decent, we're in this game. You know, that was his assessment of his play. Because I said, how you doing? He's like, if I play good, he goes, if I play decent, we're in this game. He goes, if I don't play decent, we don't have a chance. So very accountable, wants to learn, obviously has a lot to learn, is going to learn a little bit under fire here. Okay, sometimes that's the best way to learn. It's not always fun in the short term, but in the long term, it's a great way to learn. So just this decision I made in the direction we're going, and we're going to have to plow through and keep putting him in positions where we think he can be successful and keep teaching him, keep having him learn on the fly. But he's got to do a good job of managing the football.
Midway through the season, Coach, seems like a lot of the really young players are starting to come along. Maurice Thomas had a really fine game for you. Quinn Calcagno, Brad Koenig got an opportunity on Saturday, and all those young guys are really seemingly starting to get it.
Yeah, some of it is due to injuries and opportunities due to injuries, and some of it's just due to we're always assessing each position and who maybe is making plays versus who isn't making plays. And we always tell the starters, whether you're young or old as a starter, your job is to make plays and keep those guys at bay. And if you don't, then we're going to try to look at other guys. We've obviously had a fair amount of injuries. You know, Heath Harding's done for the year, which is obviously our best DB back there. Him and Bryson Burrs have been our best guys, and he's got a back situation that we've been trying to slowly let it heal, but he needs time, and it's just not healing enough that he can play Division I football. And he needs rest. There's no treatments. There's no injections, there's no anything. It's just rest is what he needs. So they think he needs about 6 weeks off, and that pretty much ends his season for us. So some of it is just getting those young guys because of you have attrition. We've had attrition at linebacker. We've had attrition in the secondary. And then some of it just is some guys aren't being as productive as you like, and you're giving other kids opportunities, or you're rotating other guys. So we're playing, obviously we know we're playing a ton of young guys on both sides of the ball. And the first drive they scored defensively could have ended with a true freshman, Josh Allen, intercepted the ball. The call didn't go our way. They called him for holding. But it was a pretty good football play, and you watch it on tape. I'll take that play every time, how he played it, how aggressive he was, and was there contact? Yeah, there was some contact, but you want an aggressive DB trying to make plays. He makes a very good play. We played, I believe, on that drive, we played 6 freshmen on the first drive of the game defensively. We played 3 linebackers, played a DB, and played 2 D linemen on the first drive of the game. And obviously offensively we're playing 2 freshman quarterbacks, 4 freshman tailbacks, a couple freshman wideouts, a freshman tight end, 2 freshman O-linemen. So we're young at a lot of spots, and we're not quite ready for what we're going against. But at this point, if we thought other guys gave us a better chance to win, we'd be playing the other guys. We're not selling the season to go with the youth movement. We're playing all the older guys we can play. But just where we're at as a program, we've turned over our roster since we've been here, and we got a lot of young guys, and we're going to be young for the next couple of years. But as I told the coaches Sunday, a lot of those guys you saw out there, 3 years from now, they're going to be in their 4th year at Miami, and they're still going to be playing. So, and some of them we hope are playing at a very, very high level, and we'll look back at these days and we'll know that we went through some tough times to get this program back to championship program. And there's people said, well, you're looking to get transfers, you're looking for, and I just said, we want to rebuild Miami's football program the right way. And there's schools that have to do it, transfers and things of that nature, and that's fine. I've been at schools like that, and I'm all for going. But we really believe we can do it with putting solid freshman classes back to back to back to back. And when you do it that way, you don't have the 1 or 2 year kids in and out, and you don't have the huge dips in your program. If you can build it right, which we are planning on doing here, you're gonna restock with younger kids, and they end up playing a lot as younger kids. Okay, well, that's part of rebuilding a program. And we talked about when we got here, I said, I know a lot of people. I can call every coach in the country and look for 1-year transfers, or look for, and I'm not saying we don't ever take a transfer, but obviously Andrew Hendricks was huge for us a year ago, but we won 2 games. I take another 1-year quarterback. Yeah, we'd probably be playing better on offense right now. I got you. But then he's gone in the next, and then when does a cycle end of trying to get your program back where you're like a Toledo, you're like a Northern Illinois that aren't taking a bunch of 1-year transfer kids to just short-term restock and hopefully you catch lightning in a bottle, but you really haven't improved your program. So we just have to keep building it the right way, and we're going to keep building the right way, and we know the path we're on, and we're very excited about the path we're on. And like I say every week, I love the long term at Miami. I'm as irritated and can't sleep as much as anyone about the short term, and it's frustrating. And if you're a competitor, it's going to be frustrating, but it's where we're at. But we're going to keep plowing through and keep competing. And like you said, when you see Maurice Thomas do some things on Saturday, you think, man, he's played 2 college football games, and he didn't look like he was overmatched out there. As a couple times he looked overmatched, or making the opposition look overmatched with his speed. And you see the Kenny Youngs and the Alonzo Smiths and Leonard Ross out there, and you see Nate Becker out there, and you see a lot of other people out there that are performing. And then you have some older guys too that I keep talking about are getting better leaps and bounds. You talked about Kenny, the linebacker, by the TJ Williams had another giant improvement. And I know he's a junior, but he's getting better and playing better and better football. And the Bucci Okafors in the world, and Marsha Taylor's getting better. So it's not just young guys. We're trying to get a whole football program to play at a higher level. And a lot of kids are doing that, but not enough of them.
Chuck, are you confident that you have the backing of the administration? Are you confident that they have the patience that you have to see this through, knowing that it's going to take?
Yeah, and again, sometimes it can turn a lot quicker than you think. So I don't worry about that. I always say, if you don't want me to be your coach, just let me know. That's not an issue with me. I have no issue with what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or the progress we're making. I looked out on the field Saturday. There are some positions we're still deficient in talent-wise, but last year we were deficient at almost every position on the field talent-wise. Now we're probably more deficient at only a few spots. And one of them is we're crazy inexperienced at quarterback. Well, everyone, I tried to tell people a year ago what Andrew Hendricks was doing for this football team, and I don't think everybody totally understood it. I think they totally understand it now when they see what a difference that position makes, and we're just at a point where we're having a change the guard the position, and that's not awesome. You'd rather always play juniors and seniors. That's your druthers, but we're not. That's not where we're at right now. So we're moving forward this way. So for me, in the progress and how to build it, I know how to build it. I know exactly we're way ahead of schedule. People can say whatever and we'll turn. At some point, it's going to turn quickly. We're going to be pretty competitive, start winning games, and we're not going to stop winning games. I was like, man, that happened all of a sudden. It was like, I've been a part of it before. I was at a program one time that was 6-9 in a 15-game span, and then it turned and we went 121-9. Well, when you're 6-9 over a year and a half span, you're not but it turned. We had young guys and they got the experience, and we took some lumps, but then they became older guys and they had the experience, and all of a sudden we started giving other people lumps, and we never stopped. But we had done it with freshman class. We got to keep recruiting. We got to keep our nose to the grindstone and do a great job of bringing in the right type of kids, the right type of talent to compete here, and then we got to keep developing our talent. And that's no one didn't know that, paid attention to my football, that where our talent level was when we took over, and that doesn't change overnight. Yeah, and I think Andrew and Quentin masked some things a year ago, but they didn't mask it in my eyes. Anybody that asked me, I told them I'm a pretty honest guy. So as far as time and whatever, I don't worry about. I worry about, they hired me to do a job here. They knew the task. I knew the task ahead of me, and we have a very good plan, and we're sticking to the plan, and we're very confident that sooner rather than later, we'll be playing very good football in Miami.
Very good. Mark, you good? All right. Coach, appreciate it.
Thanks.